we can start back up.
Gave someone their help, like you did when you said
So let's go ahead and get started. At this rate, I don't know if I'm even going to get to actual. I could just spend like 5 minutes on
That's
actual
okay.
assessment.
This is fine.
Okay, so again, like I said, this kind of is what drives my conversations when I come in. I have a checklist that I actually go through. I think Region 12 actually developed an iPad app for principals, because the thing about when you've got teachers in self-contained settings that struggle, the principals, unless they come from a special education setting, really have no idea what to do. And so one of the region centers actually developed an iPad app that can help kind of guide a walkthrough that's more specific to a low incidence classroom. I think it's Region 12, that I'd have to look at it and see what specifically it is, but it's, like I said, it's kind of got that breakdown in terms of what kind of components you should see in a self-contained classroom and whether or not those classrooms have it. Because the thing about, like I said, the thing about when you get a teacher who is not that great of a teacher, and the principals aren't sure what to do, and then it comes time to renew contracts, they might get a contract renewal, and after that first year, it's almost impossible to get rid of a teacher. Unless you send me in. I'm really nice, I really am. Okay, so more specifically, so that's what I do in a nutshell on a daily basis, but the behavior side of me comes in to work with kids that have some pretty significant and challenging behaviors. Which these actually two go so well together, because I'll give you two examples of the kids that I'm working with, two of the kids I'm working with right now. I've got two boys that are huge. They're both in middle school. They are just this massive, solid mass of movement. Neither have any type of functional communication. Both of them sleep most of the day. So I say most of the day, one sleeps at least 3 hours every day. And the teacher is telling me this like it's totally fine that he sleeps 3 hours a day. So I pull out my phone, I open the calculator, I calculate 3 hours, we have 187 days of instruction. He's in 6th grade and still has, up through 12th grade, and then he's probably going to be in our 18+ program. So we've got at least probably 9 more years with him. And when I calculated how many hours that would be if he got to sleep 3 hours every day, I was like, look how much instruction this kid's missing. And the teacher was just like, this teacher hates me. I'll go ahead and tell you. Like, I was really nice the first couple months I started in this district, because I didn't want to, come in like guns a-blazing. And so I came in, was really nice, really supportive, but then I was like, okay, I know which ones I need to really crack down on. So when I showed him this, like he was just kind of, that deer in the headlights look, because I'm like, what are we missing with this? So when I start talking with him about, okay, and I'm willing to compromise. You don't have to cut the naps out completely right away, because I know what that's going to do. I know if I had a 3-hour nap every day and then you cut that out, I'm not going to be very happy.
Jennifer,
yes.
I think I may have told the group about this, and I may have told you about it, but I'm working with a school with a teacher who's got this. They've got this kid in timeout. They did, not anymore. They took the door off her timeout door. I think the principal did, which I would love that she did it. And I had data. I showed the principal the data on how much time this, because they had to document timeout and duration. And so I went through all of their data, and I got the total amount of time this child was spending in timeout, and it was unbelievable how much instructional time. This child was not getting any instruction during timeout concept. And like the potential lawsuit there.
Yeah. So there's not only that, but, and I don't tell the teachers this, but I tell like the principal and the support staff and, my colleague, when we're doing this, it's reinforcing to the staff. When you look at it from a behavior analytics standpoint of like teacher behavior, hell yeah, I'm going to let them sleep all day, because then I don't have to get beat up or punched or bitten or whatever you all were having to deal with that kid that you were talking about. Because if he's sleeping, he's not displaying a challenging behavior, so why wouldn't I let him sleep? So it's reinforcing to the staff to just let him sleep, and then when he wakes up and he's hungry, just feed him and then put him on the bus. So I come in and try to figure out what we're doing. So with this one, like I said, what I'm trying to get them to do is slowly diminish down the nap. So they have to start waking him up 15 minutes earlier for the next 2 weeks. And then after that, they had to shave off 15 more minutes. And the staff were just begging, do we have to do away with the nap totally? And I'm like, yes. Like, there isn't another kid outside of this classroom that takes a nap in the middle of the day. And plus, he doesn't have, whenever you read the reports from back home, what do you think mom and dad are reporting about his sleep patterns at home?
He's not sleeping.
No, he doesn't sleep at night because he's sleeping all day at school.
And you sometimes get where it becomes one of these things where teachers blame. They say, well, they're not making him sleep at home. And so he's coming in tired, so we have to let him nap, without thinking that it actually might be the opposite, or it should be a collaborative effort.
Right.
So maybe if we prevent him from sleeping here, the parents will have to use their time at home,
Right.
getting him to sleep, and then everyone's going to be happier. But it goes back to that collaborative effort and making parents part of the team.
Right.
Do you see that somewhere? Like, well, he's not sleeping at home, so how
Right.
can we keep him awake?
Yeah. I mean, that's really it. And like you said, on the collaboration, when you look at, and there's actually some research to show, like it's more qualitative in nature, but when we were asking parents about this kind of stuff and when they were dealing with difficult behaviors with a kid, one of the things that they did say was they didn't feel like the teacher was working with them to deal with the stuff. Because if you're working with a parent to deal with the behavior at home and it has to do with sleep patterns, then it messes up the sleep patterns that are happening at the school setting, and they're actually having to deal with it. So it's just this big whole, it's not focused on the kid at that point, is what I feel like whenever you're letting it involve it. So with that being said, when we've got kids that have pretty severe and challenging behavior, I will come in to help with FBA development. I try not to come in, unless it's a really, really significant kid and we're already potentially looking at having an IEE or a specialist come in. That's when I'll go in and actually do a full FBA, a full kind of behavior analytic one. But for the most part, I try to support and help the teacher for them to do a really good FBA. So I'll come in, I'll show them what we're doing, I will run a functional analysis and let them help. But really try to put all of that back on the teacher, because if I come in every time there's a problem, then I kind of become this white knight and they're just going to call me to come in and fix everything. So I don't ever want to be in that situation. I won't be in that situation. If you call me to come to your classroom tomorrow, the soonest I'll come to your classroom is the next week. I never come to a classroom the same week that they call me, just for that reason, because I don't want them to think that I'm somebody that they can depend on to come to fix their problems. So also consultation on program development. So if we've got kids that we're just kind of like not really sure what to do, or it's functional communication or something more specific that the teacher's not completely versed in, then I will come in, try to help collaborate to come up with a really good system, and then on top of that, come in and do staff training. So we've got an example. I've got a kid that we're putting a whole new system into place. She actually had a full IEE. BCBA came in and did a functional behavior assessment, so we had to develop a bit based on that. And so I helped. It was funny because the LSSP wrote one, and it was like the worst one I've seen. So I basically graded it and was like, change this, write this, don't put this, all that kind of stuff. And but based on all that information, what we added to that was a staff training component, because I knew a lot of the things that the BCBA was recommending I thought were really good recommendations, but it were things that I knew the teacher and the paras needed training on. So I actually spent yesterday afternoon training staff on different ways to take data, what you're taking data on, and how to really define those behaviors, and kind of probably things that you guys have talked about in this class. And then on top of that, just that treatment fidelity component. One of the things that teachers kind of slack on that is very important when you have a self-contained classroom, or you've got multiple people working in your classroom with your kids, you've got multiple paras, or you have other teachers or service providers, you absolutely have to meet together once a week. I know you see each other every single day, but having a meeting either before school or after school to really sit down and talk about things, because that kind of walking past or telling this person this while you're changing this kid's diaper or doing whatever, that's not enough. You have to have weekly meetings to talk about what's going right, what you need to be doing differently, and this person's able to get this kid to respond this way, what do we need to be doing differently? Maybe having them give an example of how they're teaching it so everybody